what are the kinds of obstacles that you face that you think people might relate to that have motivated you motivated you to motivate us?
Well, the thing is that there are two basic mindsets that basically shapes our lives. And it's the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And if you don't know which category you're in, it can hold you back in life. So a fixed mindset is someone that says, you know what, all the things that I have, everything is carved in stone. Like my life is carved in stone. Wherever I am, this is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to end up. A growth mindset is you can cultivate things to work and effort. So I had to figure out which one of those mindsets that I had. And I realized, wow, I have a growth mindset. So I can change anything that I want to change at any given time in my life. And I think some of the things that most people, the obstacles they face is that, one, you're used to people, let's talk about even college students or high school students. You're used to people telling you, this is what you should be doing with your life. This is where you should be spending your time. And so you never really find your own voice or your own place.
Somebody telling you.
Yeah, someone's always guiding you and directing you.
You should be doing this, or why aren't you in college? But there are issues. Listen, we talk about it all the time, the percentage of youngsters who are going to school out of shelters. I have great sympathy and empathy for young people in that situation. Very easy to say to them, do your homework, be square, do your thing, and go to college. There's issues.
Of course.
And a statement that was told to me by a different motivational speaker was, don't let your geography determine your biography. So that where you were and what you went through is not the finished product.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about your books. So now you've written a few of them. This was a previous one, which is How to Choose Your Career Path from 2009. And then this, total BS, but it's actually Body and Soul, ladies and gentlemen. So talk to me about the writing of them. And really, I mean, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. What is different in them? Do you change as an author? Do you find new ways to tell the stories, or are you really saying the same thing just
there's one common denominator in all of my books, and I think it's really about becoming a better you. Whether it's finding a right career, whether it's being in the right relationship, whether it's getting fit and wellness, or even just finding out who you are and where you should be going in life and what the steps you should be taking. So every book that I've ever written was through my own personal experience. I just wish they had a book like How to Choose Your Career Path when I was in high school.
There you go. Let's start with that. So people in the Bronx, I mean, there's so many issues out there for so many people, especially young people, always concerned about that. And they say, well, goodness gracious, I don't know. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a chef. I mean, but then the reality of that may not play. How do you choose a career that you want to do, and then ultimately get to a point where it becomes reality instead of just, I'm going to play in the NBA, or I'm going to, be a gymnast or whatever?
Well, one of the things that I teach as a life transformation coach is lifestyle transformation coach, I should say, is how to connect those dots, because I think that's the problem.
That is the question.
How to connect the dots. So when I wrote How to Choose Your Career Path, I said to myself, okay, here's a book about me teaching others on how I was able to choose my career path. So what else can I do with this book? So then I created a curriculum. And so I started selling my curriculums to school and teaching this in school. So it's really about how to find something and how to turn that passion into something profitable. But there are steps. You don't just go from A to Z.
Give me a sample. Give me a sample. So I love this idea because by step makes a lot of sense, frankly.
So I'll give you an example. So when I was teaching this book, How to Choose Your Career Path, this curriculum.
That's this the one that I
in the high schools and colleges,
so
right?
10, 11 years.
So I was working with the students, and so we went through a lot of different things, developmental things like setting goals, managing your time. A lot of times people say, well, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. And I break it down. There's 168 hours in a week. So how are you dissecting that time, and how are you losing time? So
Time management.
Time management. That's a big, big piece. Time management, goal setting.
I want to go back to the time management, and I'm going to even use myself. So
Okay.
I do a lot of different things. I host a couple of TV shows, I produce a website, and do all kinds of different things. And I find that if I take a step back and say, okay, now, because I'm making my own time, I work basically for myself,
Right.
for the TV shows I do and for the other work that I do. And sometimes I say to myself, well, that last 45 minutes, maybe I was watching TV or I was playing a game on my computer or chatting with a friend or whatever it is, I say to myself, you know what? That probably wasn't the best use of time. And let me just add, if you need the time off, if you need the brain space, put that into your time. But when it's out of control, that's where you get in trouble, because I'm saying, gee whiz, now I got to get out of here in 10 minutes and I just blew 45 minutes. If I did that in a schedule, I'd feel better, you know?
Right.
And I'm being very open and honest.
Yeah, you'd have more balance in your life.
Right.
And it's all
And you'd be more successful.
Exactly, and it's always about balance. And as you were saying, taking that time out. One of the things I also teach is taking time out to meditate. A lot of times people don't even realize the power of meditation and how
Now,
it
is
can-
this formal TM, or are you talking about just kind of giving yourself
I'm talking
space?
about just kind of giving yourself space, just taking that time out to self-reflect, self-evaluate, find out what it is that you want in your life, where you're trying to go, what action steps, because it's always about taking action. What action steps do I need to take to make A, B, C, D app happen? So if you don't take time to reflect and you think you know what you want, but you're not really clear on how to get there, how are you going to have the clarity to make the changes you need to make?
You know, one of the kind of philosophies that I think about, and it applies to a lot of different things, you want to be able to control it, not letting it control you.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, and Shakespeare wrote about Ophelia floating down the river, and you know, that kind of thing. And you can do that and find some way, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
How do you work with people? Do you work? You talked about speaking in schools.
And I'm a life coach.
And so you work with
I
individuals.
work one-on-one with individuals.
How does that work? Let's do a session. Let's help Gary. No, but I just
Okay, so let's do like a mock session,
ahead, I'm
right?
ready.
Okay.
I'm
So all right.
vulnerable
So
enough.
you would come to me and say, "Okay, Georgia, what is it that you need help?" And you tell me what it is that you need help with. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is the time management, because
Okay.
I'm very busy I host two weekly TV shows and I have a side business where I do some other things.
Okay, so the first thing I would ask you is what's blocking you from getting to that next level? What is it that's blocking
Okay,
you?
and what if the answer is, I'm not going to get into me personally, but what if because it is for many people, is financial. In order for me to expand my business or to do something different, I don't have enough capital to do that.
Okay, so that's
And then,
always
so then what I'm doing there is saying it's an external factor that I can't control.
right. Let's go back to what I said earlier.
Go ahead.
The fixed mindset. So the fixed mindset says, because I don't have money and because I've never been exposed to certain things, I can't get to it, or I can't have it, or I can't get access to it. That's a fixed mindset. A growth mindset is, how can I connect with someone that maybe can help me? How can I network with other people in that field that can open doors for me? So there's always a way around everything. You might say, okay, I don't have the money, but that doesn't necessarily mean because you don't have the money, you can't get to that next level, because there's people around you that you just have to connect with that's on that same mindset.
I wonder how many people say to themselves, you know what, I got to get new friends, or like I'm hanging out with this group of people, and again, mostly talking about younger people
Right.
who, you know, find themselves in little groups with
Cliques,
schools and
cliques,
cliques and
yes,
schools, and
absolutely.
they didn't really create that; they just find themselves in
Right.
it. That's a tough thing to do, and again, thinking of young people, tough thing to do to break away, because then all of a sudden, oh, why is he or she so
Right,
special?
right,
You know, that kind of thing.
right.
But that's reality. You're going to surround yourself with
You
the right
have
people.
to surround yourself with the right people. That's a big part of success. And so I always tell, even with kids, I say, listen, if you are the smartest person in your circle, you have to change your circle, because what's happening is that if you're the smartest person in your circle, people are coming to you. You're constantly giving.
But you
how,
haven't succeeded.
Exactly. How are you
Fascinating.
gaining more if you're still surrounded by that same circle of people? My mom used to always tell me, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And it's
Very
such
good.
a true saying.
Who are the people who should say to themselves, gee, I want to, GeorgiaWoodbine.com, and it just WOODBINE, so it's GeorgiaWoodbine.com, who should look at the website and say, hey, maybe this is somebody I want to work with? Well, give me a profile of the kind of person who you work well with and you can help, you can really help.
So a lot of people that come to me are authors, writers, retirees.
Really, I was making the assumption about young people.
Entrepreneurs.
Fascinating.
Yeah, all, high school students, college students. Like, I work with the schools with the curriculum for this, but I do work with people in different industries that are really just trying to figure out even career transition. That's a big one.
We're almost out of time. Can you give me a sample of, you don't have to say who it is, but somebody who came to you and then with an issue and how you helped them navigate to a better place?
So someone came to me, and I'll give you an example.
Jumped right at it. She had
to
somebody right in mind.
No, because
No,
I
I
worked
love
with a
that.
lot of people. So this woman came to me, and she's in the educational system. She says, I wanted to write a book, and she goes, I don't know how to go about it. What are the steps? So I actually coached her, and she actually finally completed that book that she was writing for 30 years that she never got to finish, which was the certain things that I showed her. These are the steps that you need to take to actually make this happen.
You must have
I
loved
was
it.
so proud. I was so proud.
Not only of yourself, but really of
No,
her.
I was so proud that she got to the level where she needed to get to.
wonderful.
And that's my passion. My passion is to help others succeed.
And that's a perfect way for us to say, hey, check out GeorgiaWoodbine.com. One book is How to Choose a Career Path.
Right,
The other
and
is
Total
Total BS,
BS.
but it's body and soul. That's part of it.
Yes, and I have a free gift for all of your viewers.
Oh.
If they go to my website, www.georgiawoodbine.com, I will give them for free a guide, 5 secrets to create the life you love.
Beautiful. Georgia, so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I'm all motivated. I'm ready to go. So that will do it for this evening's Bronx Buzz. Next week we'll be back, and also Monday night on Bronx Talk, we'll be talking about the Middle East, a whole other thing with one of the foremost Middle East experts on our program. That'll be Monday night at 9 o'clock here on Bronx Net Television. Good night.